Welcome to the Halloween Horror Show. I am your host, Psychosis. And this is on the serial killer, Richard Trenton Chase. Born May 23, 1950, Sacramento, California. He died December 26, 1980, age 30, San Quentin State Prison, California, U.S. Cause of death was by suicide. His serial killer names are the Dracula Killer, the Vampire of Sacramento, the Vampire Killer. His motives are blood-sucking, sexual pleasure, necrophilia, schizophrenia. His conviction was murder. Criminal penalty was death. 6 victims in total. Span of crimes 1977 to 1978. The date he was apprehended by authorities, January 27, 1978. In his early life, Chase was a native of Sacramento, California. By the age of 10, he exhibited evidence of all 3 parts of McDonald triad, a theory suggesting the development of psychopathy. In his adolescence, he was said to be a heavy drug user. Chase developed hypochondria as he matured. He often complained that his heart would occasionally stop beating, or that someone had stolen his artery. He would hold oranges on his head, believing vitamin C would be absorbed by his brain via diffusion. Chase also believed that his cranial bones had become separated and were moving around, so he shaved his head to be able to watch this activity. After leaving his mother's house, believing she was attempting to poison him, Chase rented an apartment with friends. Chase's roommates complained that he constantly under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, and LSD. Chase would also walk around the apartment nude, even in front of company. Chase's roommates demanded that he moved out. When he refused, the roommates moved out instead. Once alone in the apartment, Chase began to capture, kill, and disembowel various animals, which he would then devour raw, sometimes mixing the raw organs with Coca-Cola in a blender and drinking the contagion. Chase believed that by ingesting the creatures, he was preventing his heart from shrinking. Institutionalization. Chase spent a brief time in a psychiatric ward in 1973. In 1976, he was involuntarily committed to a mental institution upon being taken to a hospital after injecting rabbit's blood into his veins. The staff named him Dracula because of his blood fixation. He broke the necks of 2 birds he caught through the institution window and drank their blood. He also extracted blood from therapy dogs with stolen syringes. Chase was promptly diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. After undergoing a battery of treatments involving psychotropic drugs, Chase was deemed no longer a danger to society. And later in 1976, he was released to his mother's custody. Chase's mother warned him off of his medication and got him his own apartment. He initially shared the apartment with roommates before all of them moved out, thus leaving Chase on his own. Later investigation uncovered that in mid-1977, Chase was stopped and arrested on a reservation in the Pyramid Lake Nevada area. His body was smeared with blood, and a bucket of blood was found in his truck. The blood was determined to be cow's blood, and no charges were filed. Murder spree. On December 29th, 1977, Chase killed his first known victim in a drive-by shooting. The victim, Ambrose Griffin, was a 51-year-old engineer and father of two. He attempted to enter the home of a woman 2 weeks later, but because her doors was locked, he walked away. Chase later told detectives that he took locked doors as a sign that he was not welcome, but unlocked doors were an invitation to come on inside. He was once caught and chased off by a couple returning home as he pillified their belongings. He had also urinated and defecated on the infant child's bed and clothing. On January 23rd, 1978, Chase broke into a house and shot Teresa Wallen, 3 months pregnant at the time. He shot her 3 times. He then had sexual intercourse with her corpse while stabbing her with a butcher knife. He then removed multiple organs, cut off one of her nipples, and drank her blood. He stuffed dog feces from Wallen's yard down her throat before leaving. On January 27th, Chase entered the home of 38-year-old Evelyn Marath. He encountered her friend, Danny Meredith, whom he shot with his .22 handgun, then took Meredith's wallet and car keys. He then fatally shot Meredith, her 6-year-old son Jason, and 22-month-old nephew David Ferreira, before mutilating Meredith and engaging in necrophilia and cannibalism with her corpse. A visitor's knock on the door startled Chase, who fled in Meredith's car, taking Ferreira's body with him. The visitor alerted a neighbor, who called police. They discovered that Chase had left perfect handprints and shoe imprints in Meredith's blood. Chase was arrested shortly afterwards. Police, who searched Chase's apartment, found that the walls, floor, ceiling, refrigerator, and all of Chase's eating and drinking utensils were soaked in blood. Aftermath. In 1979, Chase stood trial on 6 counts of murder in order to avoid the death penalty. The defense tried to have him found guilty of second-degree murder, which would result in a life sentence. Their case hinged on Chase's history of mental illness and the suggestion that his crimes were not premeditated. On May 8, 1979, the jury found Chase guilty of 6 counts of first-degree murder and rejecting the argument that he was not guilty by reason of insanity, sentenced him to die in the gas chamber. His fellow inmates, aware of the extremely violent nature of Chase's crimes, feared him, and according to prison officials, often tried to persuade Chase to commit suicide. Chase granted a series of interviews with Robin Ressler, during which he spoke of his fears of Nazis and UFOs, claiming that although he had killed, it was not his fault. He had been forced to kill to keep himself alive, which he believed any person would do. He asked Ressler to give him access to a radar gun with which he could apprehend the Nazi UFOs, so that the Nazis could stand trial for the murders. He also handed Ressler a large amount of macaroni and cheese, which he had been hoarding in his pants pockets, believing that the prison officials were in league with the Nazis and attempting to kill him with poisoned food. On December 28, 1980, Chase was found in his cell, dead. An autopsy found that he committed suicide with an overdose of prescribed antidepressants that he had saved over several weeks. This is the story of Richard Chase, which is called the Dracula Killer, the Vampire of Sacramento, the Vampire Killer. This has been the first edition of the Halloween Horror Stories, brought to you by Toke 64. And we shall return with more sickening serial killer tales.